Welcome back, everyone. I'm Colin Nitcher. This is the Niche. Do I fidget like that every time I start a video? I know for a fact I probably do. Now that I said it out loud, maybe I won't as much after this. It is February 22nd, 2023, 2/22/23. Today's Wednesday. We've missed another day or two of the Niche here, but getting back into it with an episode today. It's just how life goes. Some things get busy, some things get in the way, and you miss getting a recording done. My goal is always to get an episode of this out every single day, but when we can, we can. When we can't, we can't. And so what I'll do on days like this, when we're making up for yesterday, is I'll be sure to highlight at least the picks that I had yesterday, cover how those went, and then move forward with today's picks, news, and parenting advice as well. And you can trust that those are my actual picks the day after, because I also do my best to tweet those picks. So if you ever need to call me on, like, Colin, you went 7 for 7, but you recorded it the day after the games. How do we know and trust that you actually picked them yesterday? I'll try to tweet them consistently so that there's a source of historical record there when I missed the video, the recording of the niche. But thanks for hanging out. We'll get into it today. Fitness wise, workouts have been going really, really well, really, really consistent. I had a sleep in rest day today. I look forward to getting a couple more movements in. I've got some soreness in my kind of everywhere, which is why I'm resting today. My legs are sore, my hips are sore, my back is sore, my arms are a little sore. Coming off of a really great deadlift, bench press, overhead squat day yesterday. Again, in an endurance phase of at least 3x10 sets, working up some higher reps for some muscular endurance, and still loving it, having a ton of fun, as well as feeling like I'm getting stronger, like the muscles are growing, both in size and strength and endurance and all those things that I'm tracking down. So it's been going really well. Ask any questions below in the comments if you have any about exercises or theory or planning or anything like that. Sports news, there's really not much. I wasn't going to have much to cover yesterday. I still don't have much to cover today. The NBA is going on. MLB has started spring training. Really, I think what will be of note that I've got my eye on is the different NFL players' contracts and franchise tags. And I haven't seen any news on that other than some big things like Daniel Jones wants potentially millions more than the Giants want to offer him, which I find so funny because how does a guy like Daniel Jones, other than the fact that he's an NFL quarterback with experience and has a playoff game under his belt now, got destroyed. So I don't know if you can even put that on your resume, but he has that. Those quarterbacks are hard to find. So I suppose you could say, like, hey, you're not going to find another one of me. Because in a sense, that's true. However, Daniel Jones, man, I got to feel like you're still a player in a position to just take what's being offered and go prove yourself, man. I think it's too bad that a lot of players are in it for the money that they're in. I know that there's some pressure. I don't know all the details, but there's some pressure in there from the Players Association, kind of like the Players Union, to only accept certain levels of money because it's good for all players as that limit kind of increases position to position and team to team. But I thought that was kind of funny. They're reporting that Daniel Jones wants a ton of money, and he's, to be honest, not all that great. Hasn't been all that great. Could be great, but hasn't been all that great. But I find it very interesting that Lamar Jackson still hasn't reached a deal with the Baltimore Ravens. Apparently, the reports that kind of get rumored around here and there is that they still are quite a ways away from each other on who's going to get what money. And that's kind of a crazy one, too, because I think I'm on Lamar's side as far as like he deserves some really good money because he's wickedly talented, but he also has like kind of been out with injuries and his stats haven't been nearly as good as they were in 2018, 2019. I can kind of see some reasons why the Baltimore management wouldn't want to go full send into a ginormous contract with him. It's not anywhere the same, but parts of it feel a little bit like the Deshaun Watson deal to me, where I think the Browns ruined their franchise for the next 4 or 5 years because of that contract. I don't know if that's true. Maybe he'll turn out to be a great quarterback. Maybe they'll still be able to surround him with some great talent. But I think it'll be really difficult. It's kind of my impression. There's so many factors in the Deshaun Watson conversation. Deshaun Watson conversation. There aren't nearly as many conflicting factors in the Lamar Jackson conversation, but nonetheless, still waiting to see what happens there. And I will keep you guys posted as that news keeps coming out. As far as today's picks, actually, let's go back. Let's look at yesterday's picks real quick. Here are the ones I promised. I built this scene yesterday, just didn't get around to recording. Here are the 7 games I looked at. It's 6 games with 7 different picks. And I should have put little checks and minuses for what went good and what didn't go well here. Went well, didn't go well, but I'll try to do that in future recordings. This did not hit. Xavier actually lost by 1. Texas A&M did hit. They won that game. I think they're playing really well, and Tennessee keeps kind of sliding. Texas A&M is also a really tough home environment to play in. That's what I kind of assumed it would be. So happy about that pick. Mississippi State lost in overtime to Missouri. I thought that was going to be a good one. That was almost a good one. And that's the theme of all these. Of my 3 losses, it was by a total of, I think, 6 points, or I would have hit every game. Miami did win money line. Creighton lost to Marquette. They were up by 8 at halftime, and within like the first 2 minutes of the second half, it was tied. And then Marquette just looked really good, honestly. So I did cover this 5.5, but I thought it'd be a close game with Creighton winning. And Marquette is now on my list, kind of like KU, of teams that I don't think I'll probably bet against for the rest of the year. They played with that kind of a mentality, that kind of a spirit. There's a certain grit that you can see a team play with, especially at this time of the year, getting down to the wire. And Marquette really actually seemed to play with that yesterday. I thought they looked pretty impressive. And then, of course, Texas beat Iowa State by like 1,000 at Texas. So I got 4 of these right, 3 of these wrong. Oh, and this is the big update. Oh my gosh, I didn't even lead off the episode talking about big updates. That's in the whole thumbnail for this episode. Darn it. The big update is, instead of hitting the parlay partay, which I know you guys love, we're hitting the parlays, we're hitting the partays, we're having a good time, and I promise that we're still going to keep having a good time here on the niche. But instead of tracking a record of parlays, I'm going to have better success putting wins in the win column just by doing individual picks. So as of yesterday, my record was 0-3. We don't have to talk about that. I didn't record that episode. You didn't see those picks, but I'm including them in good nature from the moment I decided to do this. I went 0-3 on Tuesday. I went, what's that math? 4-7. I guess technically 4-3, 4-4-7, 4-3 yesterday. So now, just across the board, pick to pick, I am 4-10 in the last 2 days. So that's going to be how we do the record from here on out. So when you're looking at my record, don't think of it as hitting parlays. Think of it as individual picks and how we did the day before. Speaking of individual picks, we'll get here into today's picks. I don't like today's games nearly as much as I liked yesterday's games, and I only went 4 for 7 yesterday. So, with that said, I really do like Providence plus 7.5 at Connecticut. I think both teams are playing really well right now. I think Connecticut very surely can and will win. I just don't think Providence deserves to be a 7.5 point underdog with how well they've seemingly performed in their last 5 to 8 games. I like this pick a lot. There's one of my picks today that I don't like at all, but I still picked it. I don't know why. I didn't have to. Nobody's making me do this. You guys aren't making me do this. I'm doing this to myself. And there's a pick in there I don't like that much, but nonetheless, I like Providence plus 7.5 at Connecticut. Cincinnati money line versus Temple. You'll see I put minus 360 here instead of at the end. Temple is the team that scares me here, and you would think like calling minus 360, you're not even making any money betting that line, and that's kind of true. But just as far as picks go, is the only thing I was comfortable with. I don't even remember what the spread on this game was, but Temple has been up, Temple has been down. They have played close games. They've gotten beat by bad teams. I like Cincinnati winning, and that's all I could say. So Cincinnati money line versus at home versus Temple. Clemson money line versus Syracuse. Apparently, I didn't want to put the odds on this one. Guys, this is a good show. This game scares me. I'm not mad at this pick, but this game does scare me because I've seen Syracuse play, and I've bet on them one time and won because they played really well. Clemson, the only thing recently they've done that was real poor is get beat by like 1,000 by North Carolina, who's kind of playing pretty well right now. It's a home game for Clemson. I like them to win, but I didn't like the spread options. Valparaiso, to be honest with you, not a team I know much about, but looking at their recent games, playing at home against a decent Bradley team, it's one of those where I thought they've been playing well enough recently to deserve better than an 8.5 point underdog. And I do like the general sentiment of down to the wire, end of the season. Teams are all fighting for the best possible games that they can play. You'd think that'd be true the whole season. We're getting close to March here. We're 10 days away from March. It just feels a little bit different. And I like Valparaiso to cover an 8.5 point spread at home versus Bradley. Same conference, different sentiment. Drake's 14.5 favorite versus a not very good Illinois State team. One trend I've been betting a lot and enjoying is the Missouri Valley Conference covering big spreads. You would say, Colin, you didn't do that for Bradley. Well, I don't think Bradley's that good, and they're playing on the road. Drake is actually really good, playing very well at home against a team that's not that good. I like them to take care of business against Illinois State. Minus 14.5. And then finally, this one I don't like. Why did I even pick it? DePaul minus 2.5 versus Butler. I think Georgetown is a terrible team this year, and their only 2 conference wins are against DePaul and Butler. This is a home game. I think Butler's lost 2 in a row, but DePaul, I took a note, has lost 8 in a row. Minus 2.5. This will be the one that kills me. I think I'll quit recording these if all these hit and this DePaul one misses. I think that's what I'll do. But nonetheless, there's my 6 picks for tonight. Shooting to go 10-10 by tomorrow. Looking at you, DePaul. You can't mess this up for us, baby. Come on. There you go. I need a catchy slogan now for picks. The niche picks, Wednesday picks. I don't know. We'll have to come off. The parlay partay was pretty good, but I don't like picking parlays every day because I lose so often. So let's win a little bit more by just doing individual picks here on the niche, baby. We'll come up with something. Tag it below if you have a good idea for a catchy slogan about our picks. Parenting. I got to be honest. I was wavering a little bit on whether or not I wanted to continue to include this segment in the niche, but I'm going to because my sweet wife told me that she clicks into this video and fast forwards to the end just for the sake of hearing what I have to say about parenting. So whether or not it's every video, I don't know, but I'll work on when different themes pop up in parenting to include them here as best as I can. And I went ahead and decided to let today's be inspired by my beautiful, wonderful wife. And because she's here watching at the end of this video. Thanks, babe. You're the best. I think my wife does a really good job of seeking balance in her parenting. She stays home with the kids all the time, and so she, rightfully so, is easily tired out by the crazy kids, mostly our 2-year-old daughter. And she does a wonderful job of balancing the things that she knows are really strong and healthy and good for the kids, like playtime and getting outside and going on walks and doing different coordinated activities. But those take her energy and effort, and I know that they're hard to do with complete consistency. And so she does a wonderful job of sprinkling in rest times, movie times, break times, snack times to both break up some of the activities, but more so give herself a time to rest and to breathe. So as a parent, be sure you're paying attention to those rhythms of, hey, we're working really hard to do the things that are good for our family and valuing those, but at the same time, we're giving ourselves enough room to find the rest that we need and not drive ourselves crazy by always trying to do what's quote unquote the best thing to do. So, babe, you rock. You do a great job at that. And thanks for watching the end of my videos, even if it looks horrible on my YouTube statistics, because you fast forward through the whole thing. But I do appreciate you and I love you. Thank you guys for hanging out on the niche. I'm Colin Nitcher. This is fun. We're going to be 10-10 tomorrow, baby. Let me see your picks below. Let me see your parenting advice below. Let me see your questions about fitness below. And until tomorrow or potentially Friday, you guys take it easy.